Plattsburgh seniors, it's about 9:30 at night. Your graduation is all set up, ready to go. There's still toilet paper on the ceiling. Nice job, seniors. It's a little unique. I apologize for not being able to be here, but I'm very honored to speak on behalf of you guys. My 2 tours here, I've seen all types of classes come through, but your character, your talent, the characters that are in your class is my favorite group that I've been here. As my buddy Coach Kopp would say, they're an old school Plattsburgh class, and you guys should wear that as a badge of honor and one of the highest compliments you could get. As your teacher, you probably heard me tell you at least once why you were here. It's something my mom told me every single day that I lived in her house, to be nice. I told you guys that over and over. Even in arguments, it didn't matter, just say be nice. The older I get, that's the one thing that stuck with me, that acts of kindness are what changes people and is what changes the world. Some people call this the butterfly effect, how one single flap of a butterfly's wings can change the course of weather clear across the globe. The greatest example that I can give you guys is the following story I heard a few years ago, and I want to pass it along to you because it meant a lot to me at the time. If I asked you the question, what person has saved more lives than any single person in the history of the world, you might get quite a few famous individuals. You could say Harry Truman for ending World War II. You could say Jonas Salk for coming up with a polio vaccine. But neither of those are correct. The correct answer for most historians is the name Norman Borlaug. Who is Norman Borlaug? I bet there's less than 5 people in this audience today that know that name. So let's start by explaining what he did. In the 1940s, he hybridized high-yield, disease-resistant corn and wheat seeds. His seeds grew where no seeds had ever grown before, and it saved over 2 billion lives from famine. 2 billion. That's 2 with 9 zeros behind it. But here's where the story starts, is that Norman Borlaug shouldn't get all of the credit for saving those 2 billion lives. It should start with Henry Wallace. Now, maybe a few more of you have heard of Henry Wallace. He was the vice president of FDR. He initiated this project that Norman Borlaug carried out. He created a station in Mexico that hybridized corn and wheat, but he shouldn't get all the credit either, because George Washington Carver should also get some of the same credit. Now, most of you have probably heard of George Washington Carver. He's a developer of over 260 things that we use from the peanut, 80 different things we use from the sweet potato, but he got his start as a college student at Iowa State. While he was there, he mentored one of his professor's 6-year-old sons every time he would go out on botanical expeditions. This created and instilled a love for plants. That boy's name was Henry Wallace, who later hired Norman Borlaug, who saved 2 billion lives. But Carver shouldn't get all the credit either, because all this story started with Moses and Susan Carter in Diamond, Missouri. Moses and Susan Carter saved a nearly dead baby boy from Confederate soldiers after these bandits took off with their friend Mary Washington, who refused to let go of her infant baby. After spending days tracking down this baby, Moses Carter traded their last horse for this baby boy and walked miles home in the winter to get him to safety. Moses and Susan raised him in honor of his mother to go to school, get an education, and make a difference in the world. They gave him both his mother and their names and raised George Washington Carver. One simple act of doing what is right, being there for someone else, set off a course of events that led to 2 billion people having their lives saved as well. It's powerful stuff. But Moses and Susan did not start out trying to save 2 billion lives. They set out to save one single act of kindness. This story had me thinking about why I'm standing here today. When I was in high school, I was at football practice. I was helping some underclassmen, and my coach, Kevin Bryan, stops and says to me, "You got a knack for this. You should come back and coach with me." Right then and there, I changed what I wanted to do. I changed the college that I was going to go to, and I decided to teach and coach. That moment doesn't happen, I'm not standing here making this video. I'm not I have not met any of you. I never go to Northwest. I never meet my wife. My 2-year-old at home doesn't exist. I go to Northwest later on because of their teaching college, and while I'm there, my professor, Virgil Freeman, Coach Jim Freeman, who coached here, his brother, he coached my dad in high school football. One day, his son-in-law, who was a principal in the KCI, called him and said, Plattsburgh needs a math teacher. Who should they hire for the job? He recommended me. If I'm not at Northwest, I'm not standing on this stage, I don't meet any of you. It's amazing to think about that a simple act of kindness, a few kind words from my high school football coach, changed the course of my life in an instant. This story illustrates the butterfly effect I was telling you about earlier, how one small act of kindness can change the world, because it changed mine. Guys, as you step out into the world, remember that your actions, however small, they matter. A smile, a word of encouragement, a helping hand, these simple gestures can ignite change. You may not see the immediate impact, but rest assured you are making a difference. A simple act of kindness could inspire somebody to pursue their dream, find hope in dark times, or pay that kindness forward, creating an endless change of positivity and support. You hold the power to influence the world because you hold the power to influence a single person, even if it just starts with that. As you leave here today, I challenge you to be that butterfly. Flap your wings with purpose. Be aware that your actions, your decisions, and your kindness have the power to shape the future. In your personal and professional lives, let the ripple effects of your integrity, compassion, and perseverance create that positive change. Greatness often starts with something small. It's those seemingly insignificant moments that can lead to the most extraordinary outcomes. Just as the butterfly's wings can influence the weather, just as Moses and Susan Carter saved a little baby boy that turned into 2 billion lives, just as my high school football coach changed mine, your everyday actions can shape the world. I'm incredibly proud of each one of you. I'm incredibly proud to be on this stage representing you. Your journey is just beginning, and I have no doubt that you will make waves in this world. Embrace the butterfly effect. Be kind, be courageous, and never underestimate the power that you have to make a difference. And be nice. Congratulations, class of 2024. Go out and change the world, one small act at a time.